In this video, I'll show you how to read various GST reports like GSTR 1, GSTR 2 and GSTR 3. To view those reports, select the option Display at the gateway of Tally and select the option Statutory Reports and press Enter and select GST. We will first check GSTR 1 reports, so press the Enter key. So the screen for GSTR1 report will appear. Press the F2 key to specify the period for which you want to view the report. So I am going to view reports for the month of August. So I will specify that period and press Enter. The GSTR1 is a monthly return which needs to be filed by a taxable person, and it includes information about outward supplies for the given period. So by outward supplies we mean sales. Now let me explain each field over here. So for the given period, that is for the month of August, there are 5 vouchers. So if I press the Enter key, I would be able to see what those 5 vouchers are. So out of these 5 vouchers, there are 2 purchase vouchers and there are 3 sales vouchers. And among these 5 vouchers, the excluded vouchers are 2 vouchers which are purchase vouchers, and all the 3 sales vouchers are included. So over here in the last row you can see that there are 5 vouchers for the given period, out of which 3 vouchers are included which are of sales type, and 2 purchase vouchers are not included in this return. Since GSTR1 deals with sales, that is why it has excluded purchase vouchers. And now press the escape key. So the same information you can find it over here. So there are 3 vouchers included in the returns, and there are 2 vouchers which are not relevant for the return. The field incomplete or mismatch in information will display total number of mistakes which are present in the return. So right now the number over here is 0, which means that there are no mistakes in the return. And if there would be a mismatch in the information, then it will display total number of mismatches which are present in the return. So if it displays the number as 1 or 2, then it means that there are 1 or 2 mismatch in information which needs to be resolved. So if this field indicates there is a mismatch in the information, then you need to press the Enter key over here. Then it will display the message indicating what missing information is. And most probably the mismatch arises out of non-inclusion of HSN code, or if you have entered incorrect GST number of a party which doesn't match with the state code. So such errors would be displayed and you need to rectify those mistakes before proceeding to file the return. Now for the return, there are 3 invoices, out of which 2 invoices are of B2B type, which means that we sold our items to a business, and there is 1 invoice which is of B2C type. So B2B stands for business to business and B2C stands for business to consumer. So there is 1 invoice where we sold our items to a consumer, and there are 2 invoices where we sold our items to businesses. And upon pressing the Enter key on B2B invoices, it will display all the B2B transactions. So over here you can see that we issued 2 invoices to the buyer Ultra Technologies, and the combined taxable value of both the invoices is 36,002 rupees, and CGST and SGST on this taxable value is also displayed over here. And if you press Alt V, you would be able to see the information in voucher wise, and if you want to see the details for each buyer, you can press Alt V again. Now press the escape key And similarly you can check details about B2C transactions. So you can see there is a transaction whose taxable value is rupees 23,960 and the GST of 18% was calculated on this taxable value. Now press the escape key. So you can see that the total combined taxable value of three invoices is 59,962 rupees, and the amount of tax that you are liable to pay is rupees 10,793 rupees and 16 paise. So this is the output tax liability which you need to pay. And in order to upload this return on the portal, you need to export the return. So select the export option over here and click on it and specify the format in which you want to export the return. So on the GST portal we upload a JSON file, so I will select it over here and specify the location where the file would be saved over here, and this would be the default name of the file. And in this option you can specify whether the file that you export you want to open it or not. So I don't want to open it once it is created, and accept the screen. So this is how you export your GSTR1 report. Now let's check GSTR2 report. So press the escape key and select the GST report as GSTR2 and specify the period for which you want to view GSTR2 information. So I'm going to view information for the month of August. The GSTR2 report includes details about inward supplies, that is purchases for a given period. So again, for the month of August we know that there are 5 vouchers, out of which 2 vouchers are of purchase type which has been included in this return, and the remaining 3 invoices which are not relevant for the return are obviously of sales type. And both of my purchases are of B2B type, which means that I made purchases through registered dealers, and upon pressing the enter key over here I would be able to see the purchase information from each of the supplier. So upon looking at this report I can understand that I would be eligible to get input of rupees 2,700 from Right Technologies, and I am eligible to get input of rupees 9,000 from Super Technologies. And let me press the enter key. So total input tax credit which I would be eligible to get is rupees 11,700 rupees on taxable value of rupees 65,000. And as with the GSTR1 you can export this return as well. So click on the button export return over here, specify the format of your file, whether you want to save the file in Excel spreadsheet format or in JSON format, and save it to a location of your choice, and whether if you want to open the file after saving it or not you can specify it over here and export the return. So that was all about GSTR1 and GSTR2. Now let's check the report for GSTR3B. So press the escape key and select the GSTR3B report and specify the period of the return. Alright, so GSTR3B is a simple return for small taxpayers, so it doesn't require any invoice level information which needs to be furnished as with GSTR1 and GSTR2. So GSTR3B requires you to furnish details about total outward supplies which you have made and total tax amount which you are liable to pay, and apart from that you need to specify the input tax credit that you are eligible to receive. So it's a simple return where you need to furnish how much tax amount that you are liable to pay and how much input tax credit that you are eligible to receive. So over here you can see that you are required to pay tax amount of rupees 10,793 rupees and 16 paise, and the input tax credit that you are eligible to receive is rupees 11,700 rupees. And you need to export this return as well. So select the option export return and specify the format of your return and specify the export location, the name of the output file, and whether you want to open the file after it is exported or not. You can specify it over here. So that's all about various returns in Tally. So I hope that you understood how to read GSTR reports in Tally and how to export them. In the next video, I will show you how to set off input GST to pay output liability.